Hey, it's Dr. Schmidt. So I want to use one graph to demonstrate the fallacy that meat is bad and animal fats are bad primarily. And I was at a seminar. This is August of 2018 in Columbus, Ohio. The Keto Conference is at Ohio State University. This picture right here that you're looking at is from my iPhone. I picked up my iPhone, I took a picture, and there was on this slide, and it was very profound. I was reviewing some of these pictures of these slides, and I decided to share this one with you. So let's talk about it. So on the far left, we have U.S. animal fat consumption is dropping, and I'll show you the actual graphs, and I will show you the links that you can find them yourself. So after World War II, the consumption of animal fat dropped, and you can look at the history of this. This is from Ansel Keys. He was a bad scientist, and everybody was desperate to fix heart disease because President Eisenhower had a couple heart attacks. So Ansel Keys said, hey, the problem is fat, and so stop eating animal fat. Instead, eat margarine and eat sugar. And when you see the ads, like in magazines from the 1960s, they said that when you eat sugar, it reduces your appetite. You eat less food, you end up eating less calories, and therefore you're saving yourself from being overweight and heart attacks and diabetes. Okay, completely false, right? The exact opposite is what the truth is. Now, in the middle, the graph says rate of heart disease per 100,000 people, and that graph is going up. Now, I don't have the link for that. I don't have the reference for it. And to be honest, when you search prevalence of heart disease or incidence of heart disease online, and I've done this for years, what always shows up is mortality. The mortality from heart disease is dropping because of statin drugs and surgeries. And so, yeah, that's good. Mortality is down, but incidence and prevalence is up, up, up consistently year after year. So, on the far right, we have United States PUFA consumption. That's polyunsaturated fatty acids. That's vegetable oils. That's the man made oils that have been marketed to us for being healthy, but they're completely not. So, we're talking all the seed oils, and that includes like nut oils, peanut oils, sesame seed, mazola, canola, corn, all those vegetable oils that come in bottles, and the liquid is usually it's yellow or sort of clear yellow, and there can be shelves and shelves and shelves of this at the grocery store. And let's not forget the margarine, which isn't a liquid, but it's in the same family as Crisco shortening. These are just man-made total garbage. And watch, I got two more slides. Watch what happens when we discuss this in more detail. Okay, so next, here's a blow up of the United States PUFA consumption from 1909 to 2005. And I forgot to mention soybean oil, that's part of it. Here's the US animal fat consumption dropping. Okay, now with this graph, this is from the USDA, it's and prepared by Stephen Giannet. The American version of his last name would be Guyanet. And I follow him on Twitter. It's fantastic information. Although you can debate him on some points, but let's just look at this graph right here. The obesity line is going up, and the sugar consumption started dropping around 98, 99, 2001. And I remember this period in my professional career. This is when the internet started to become popular, and Dr. Mercola was pumping out articles about how bad sugar is. And I remember in 2001 looking at these stats saying, wait a minute, the sugar consumption is actually going down. This must be from the internet. People are getting educated. They're not drinking pop anymore. They're eating less junk food. And now this ends at 2013. So good job, all of America. You're doing much better with the sugar consumption is going down. But the obesity continues to go up. And why would that be? One of two reasons, maybe both reasons, but we still have bread to contend with, the carbohydrates from grains, and we still have the bad fats, the PUFAs. So these fats right here lead to diabetes regardless of sugar consumption. And so when you look at China and India, they've always eaten high carb. Let's say 70% of the calories come from carbs, like rice. And in China, they eat a lot of pork, and in India, it's more dairy. So what's been happening is they're removing those animal fats, just like what happened here, and instead they're putting in the vegetable oils. And so then their rates of diabetes is going up faster than the United States, even though their carb intake has been the same. So these bad fats, man-made fats, could be worse than the excess carbs. Okay, so this isn't talked about as much as it should be. Everybody's been focusing on sugar and carbohydrates. Still true, still want to do low carb. But the point here is, let me wrap this up. You can't have high carb and high fat at the same time. So you want to drop down to low carb to reduce inflammation, and now you have the fats. And you want to replace the bad man-made fats with the good animal fats. And then your protein is up or down. I'm sorry, your protein stays high to maintain the structure of your body. And then the fats can go up if you're an athlete and you're in ketosis and you're burning fat and you need the energy and your brain's working hard because of your job or something. Or if you want to lose weight, you drop that fat down. So there you go. There's the summary of all that. So stay away from these bad fats. Get your diet in order. Keep the sugar down. Keep your carbs down. And if you have any trouble with that, let me know. You can email the office. You can become a patient. You can call the office too. The information is right here where my finger is pointing. And there are problems that people have when they start to improve their diet and go on the normal human diet, which is low carb and meat based. The majority of your calories should be coming from meat. That is the normal diet for human beings. So typically, people might have maybe some muscle cramping or keto flu fatigue. Another symptom would be maybe keto rash. And then some gallbladder problems may occur because eating bread and carbs and grains for a long time can really make your gallbladder work harder because of sludge occurring inside the gallbladder. It should be really thin bile, but with a high carb diet based on grains, it becomes a thick sludge. And people get disease problems from eating the standard American diet, and then they go on more of a meat diet and they get these symptoms that occur and they blame the meat. After eating standard American junk for 55 years, you can't blame the meat. You got to blame the 55 years of eating bad food. So I help people get through this, and for some people it may be 6 months before they're happy with their diet, or maybe even a year, as we fix up their organs and we're repairing the damage that they've done with the highly industrialized, processed, bad fat, high sugar foods. So contact us. Please give me a thumbs up on this video. YouTube is no longer sharing my channel. They're not sharing my videos. They're unsubscribing people. They don't like me because I talk about eating meat, and they're definitely like a vegan-based company. And although there's no science whatsoever to back up the idea that meat is bad, there's no science. I've been looking for 3 years. There's a lot of surveys, there's polls, there's opinion, there's anecdotal clinical results, but it's just odd to think that a food we've been eating for 2 million years is suddenly causing disease in the last 65 years. Like, that's not the issue. Obviously, it's the industrialized foods that started with the industrialized um, mechanistic era past 1850, 1890, the Industrial Revolution. The industrial food came along with that. All right, so give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe. See you at the next video.